Okay, so I want to make a video to help break the stigma of medicinal marijuana because, again, Big Pharma has somehow managed to pay out enough people to have plant medicines be once again silenced, which is pretty unfortunate because it's literally silencing a specific group of people. And that's kind of the whole point of this time period, was to stop doing that because we've already seen what happens when that's done. For me, I have an incomplete spinal cord injury with Brown Sequard syndrome. It's from blunt force trauma to the right side of my T7 region spine. And I tried some different chemical compounds that they gave me and prescribed, but I'm really sensitive to medications, and chemical compounds for me do not work. So again, for me to speak out about plant medicines, I'm like, oh, there's so many different people in the world. And while we know that many pharmaceuticals are bad for people over long term, I recognize the fact that some people have a better response to them than others. So for me, the lowest dose of a chemical compound substance that they gave me that Big Pharma prescribes and makes money from made me feel too cloudy in my mind for it to be beneficial. So what never made me feel that way was Rick Simpson oil, which is marijuana extract. It's not something to be feared. It's not something to give to recreational teenager users. Like, again, I have strong opinions when it comes to teenage use because your brain development is really important. And it's also important to have, truths be told to you and shared with you around why you're using it, how you're using it, and is it beneficial for you? Is it not beneficial for you? Again, there's a lot of taboo surrounding medical marijuana, which is really unfortunate because it is a miracle medicine, and I am proof. Remaining ambulatory with an injury that I should not have between being a non-performing athlete and also cannabis, and then when I regressed, because again, I tried to just heal with my mind and not use any cannabis, not use any type of pain medicine other than herbs and foods, which are very beneficial as well, and then the specific movements, meditation daily, daru daily, mantras daily, prayer daily, and I ended up deconditioning my body to the point where I couldn't stand upright and I wasn't ambulatory in my apartment anymore. So again, this is proof that it's a miracle medicine, because with this and my ambulatory exercises daily and everything else that I mentioned that I do daily, I have managed to make leaps and bounds, and it's winter time. So this is a huge deal for me. And my goal again is this summer to be ambulatory without sticks. I'm hoping that that will be 1 full year of my exercises, close to a year being ambulatory in my apartment without walking devices, and I'm hoping to be outside again. Again, maybe that shouldn't be the goal because sometimes my body does need to sit down, but I can't because I live on a second floor and I don't have help with a lot of things. And again, Big Pharma contributed to the covering up of all of these situations and my medical records. So this has been a really challenging time for me, but I do want to speak about the benefits of this medicine for pain. This is for pain relief. I wouldn't recommend this for anxiety or for any other condition, but serious pain conditions. And I will also state that this has been known to heal skin cancer when you apply it directly to the skin cancer lesion. It's been known to help brain tumors, cancer patients, put them into remission, give them a will to live again, help combat fighting cancer cells, and also now spinal cord injury, it's very beneficial for. So again, this is how it looks. It's a little bit intense when I was first using it because it was in a syringe, and I've always associated those with something bad. But there's no needle, obviously. It's a gel form, and this is marijuana extract. So this is literally marijuana extract. And again, this is not where I purchased it from, but I like this case because it shows on it it's marijuana, so that people don't get it confused, because again, there can be a lot of gaslighting about this, and unfortunately my ex lying contributed to him getting away with everything and to me not receiving appropriate medical care and help during this time period. So along with Big Pharma being very threatened by this medicine, it has kept me silenced, but I want to make sure to speak about it because it has great benefit for people that are in need of serious pain relieving medicine. And Snorri Bear Perseus is getting ready. So basically what you do is you squeeze out just a little bit of it, and once it starts to come here, it's winter, so it's going to be a little thicker, and then I'm just going to apply it onto a piece of chocolate or fruit, as my ex's lawyer exploited in court. So now Big Pharma is also contributing to the covering up of domestic assault and silencing peoples that are sensitive to their chemical compounds and speak out in favor of plant medicines, specific blood types, specific people, specific individuals who are sensitive. So again, that's what it looks like when you put it on a piece of chocolate or fruit. Again, he tried to exploit the fact that his client who crippled me, he tried to exploit the medicines that I needed to deal with the effects of his client's abuse. So that wasn't fun either. You can imagine what that did. Especially as a woman who, unfortunately, a lot of people have been led to believe that the studies that have been done surrounding marijuana as medicine have been predominantly only affected people in a positive way that already liked to smoke weed, already liked to use cannabis, already liked that. But I'm here to say I'm the opposite person. So when I was a young person, Perseus, can you snore quieter? When I was a young person, I smoked for fun, and I would have told you that, and I never pretended it was my medicine, and I never pretended that I needed it for any other reason than I just liked to smoke. But I also could go without it. I never became addicted. I'm not really an addict of anything. So I like chocolate, but I can even go days without chocolate. So if I would say I'm addicted to anything, it would be chocolate. But again, I can go days and days without chocolate. So it is delicious, though, you have to admit. But again, basically, I stopped using cannabis because it gave me anxiety as a young woman. And so I stopped using it recreationally and instead just did nothing. I meditated, I did yoga, I prayed, I had my own way. I had my altar set up on the mountain. I hiked daily. I worked all the time. I took care of my dog. I was really happy. I had established a life, a path, goals, and then started to cross off everything on my list. The only thing that was left was purchasing land, putting my yurt and my earthship on it, which is a self-sustainable home. And then I was going to be happy in my own little world, you know, creating what I wanted for my life and living my dreams. But I became crippled by a man, which is almost 3 years ago this May. So again, I've been very exploited about using marijuana as medicine, but I just want to share that there was a window of time in between there where I didn't use it at all because it gave me anxiety. And in fact, even once I had my medicinal marijuana card, I rarely used it. And it was something that I had to work with my therapist on at the time. I was in talk therapy, and she helped me come up with a mantra so that I felt comfortable using it as medicine, because as a woman in her mid-30s who was using it as medicine, I had a lot of anxiety surrounding it from the way it made me feel before. So I was actually the opposite. I had to talk myself into wanting to use this as medicine. I had to actually be like my own cheerleader, my own support system. And regardless of all of the taboos and being exploited during this time period, I have had to stay steadfast in who I am, what I believe in, and what I know about myself and the truth. Because again, I've been speaking the truth the whole time, so I have nothing to hide. In fact, other people here are the ones who do. Now, again, anybody who claims that only people that benefit from medical marijuana are people who enjoyed it before, they are lying, because I'm here to tell you that's not true at all. But Big Pharma has a lot of money and power in this country and essentially owns this country and the government. Just look who they fund in the government for their political campaigns, and you'll understand why there's such stigmatism surrounding all of this, and also why worldwide, instead of talking about this being a major cure, we are instead silencing it yet again, and also silencing the people involving domestic assault victims or survivors because their ex decides to exploit it even though they are a recreational user themselves. Now, this is something that's been really challenging for me because somehow this contributed to all of this happening for me and to all of these things going in a negative way. And now it's not surprising to know Big Pharma is part of the reason, but there's also quite a few other factors here that I won't get into. But I just want to show you that as pain medicine, this is what I would do. And when it first happened to me, I obviously was in really rough shape, so I took this more frequently. probably about 3 or 4 times a day. And then eventually I took it less, and then I took a break, and then I took it again, twice a day, and then 3 times a day, and then I took a break. And I've been experimenting the whole time with it, and I know exactly what the effects have been for me, how long of breaks I took. And again, I didn't do myself any favors by not taking any cannabis from the end of September of 2021 until about mid-June of 2022 when I began taking it again. And again, this now, because I'm not working and I'm actually learning my injury 100%. So I'm not willing to risk my life anymore for a job, risk my life because of autonomic dysreflexia. If you don't know what that is, please Google T7, T8, incomplete spinal cord injury, Brown-Sequard syndrome, and autonomic dysreflexia. It'll all make perfect sense to you, especially when you see that red mark in which he hit me. It all will make perfect sense to you because everything I've been saying is true. Now, again, right now I'm taking this about once a day because I'm doing it enough to be ambulatory in my apartment, to sit up to do my Darude and my meditation, although sometimes I'm still doing Darude on my right side, to be able to paint, to be able to, again, ambulate throughout my apartment, to cook multiple times in a day instead of once a week for myself, to be able to do my laundry in the sink, and to be able to get to the grocery because, again, my car is broken. So I have to do all of these things and try to figure out how to get my body to do these things with an incomplete spinal cord injury. So I just really, really want to speak out about this because it is incredibly beneficial. And the silencing of it is not only contributing to covering for domestic abuse, but it's also literally keeping a group of people down, which is something that's been used for a long time to keep plant medicines and the peoples that use plant medicines down and on the lower group of society, and gaslighting us and diminishing us and what we say. And again, this is not a new tactic. This is a very old one. So we have to stand together and keep speaking out about the truth so that eventually this can change for the future.